Its motto is "Don't be evil," but the Australian Federal Court has ruled that tech giant Google is guilty of cashing in by misleading consumers. The verdict sets an international precedent. It means that Google is responsible for any deceptive ads generated by a search using its engine. The ruling threatens Google's ad revenue, which in Australia alone is estimated in the hundreds of millions. But as Sarah Dingle reports, with its business model under threat, Google's unlikely to let the decision rest.
British boy band One Direction is taking Australia by storm. Frenzied fans queue for hours just to catch a glimpse of their idols. Those who can't be there join in at home, and hoping to own a small part of it, they turn to Google. A search for free music takes them into the heart of Google's complex business model, where every click counts. That's what makes you beautiful.
Google isn't really anymore a search engine, it's an advertising company.
Ads are Google's lifeblood. They account for 96% of the company's global revenue, which last year was almost $38 billion US. But this month, Google lost a landmark case in Australia's federal court, which is now threatening those rivers of gold.
It was clearly a case of an advertiser who was paying Google, basically trying to take advantage of a better-known competitor.
The federal court found Google had served up ads which misled and deceived consumers. In one instance before the court, a search for Harvey World Travel delivered a link to a competitor's website.
This sponsored advertiser had through Google's algorithms, connected their site to a competitor's name. So they were really taking advantage of a competitor's name to get onto their site.
Google did not choose misleading terms. However, because of its technology, it was found responsible for the misleading links, the misleading advertising links. This decision very much undermines the way that these search engines operate.
At Harvard's Business School in Boston, Associate Professor Ben Edelman examines how commercial interests shape the internet. A consultant for companies like Microsoft, he's been watching the Australian decision to make Google accountable for its ads.
The question of what Google needs to do to keep its ads safe has been hotly contested on every continent worldwide, and now, finally, Australia has achieved the important result that Google needs to do more to keep consumers safe.
He says the federal court's case hasn't stopped the practice of misdirecting consumers.
So I'm going to type in Sheraton Seoul. Well, the surprise is this advertisement at the top. It says Grand Hyatt Seoul. Wait, I asked for the Sheraton. The Sheraton and the Hyatt, those aren't the same at all. Those are direct competitors. When you ask for one, Google is trying to send you off to the other instead. Exactly what the ACCC sued about.
Our core business is desktop search. That's where we make most of our money.
Last night in Sydney, e-commerce leaders and the Technorati gathered at the University of Technology. In a rare public appearance, Google's Australia-New Zealand Managing Director is outlining his vision for the future of online business and Google's continuing expansion. Given the recent federal court decision finding that Google is liable for the misleading ads generated by its search engine, what implications does this have for Google's business model?
We were really disappointed by the outcome of that. We're giving it some thought at the moment about what to do, and because of that I actually can't say all that much. But I would say that we are in the business of creating platforms for advertisers and for users to connect, and that's our role that we see.
Google's technology has revolutionised the way companies and consumers connect.
Where's our ad in the Yellow Pages directory?
Once, missing the Yellow Pages deadline was commercial suicide.
Not happy, Jan!
Now, search engines like Google deliver instant search results and targeted ads, which Google's staff can help tailor to maximise impact.
Appearing on Google is within the reach of anyone. Are you ready to be found on Google?
But online advertising is largely unregulated.
And we all know that
you can break anything if you spend long enough breaking it.
For Alastair McGibbon, cybersecurity is his bread and butter. The former head of the Australian Federal Police's high-tech crime unit counts Microsoft amongst his clients.
There's more that internet companies like Google can do to stop ads that are improper or indeed sometimes outright illegal from being served to consumers.
Google makes money from every advertisement. They make money from the good advertisements, they make money from the bad advertisements. Do they have an incentive to take out the bad advertisements? Not always.
Ben Edelman says every ad click means cash for Google, regardless of where the user lands.
Google is selling ads to just the sleaziest of folks. Often the ads that you get will take you to sites that at the very least want to put adware on your computer.
Under the then Trade Practices Act, there were no financial penalties for Google's breach. But following the court's decision, the onus is now on Google itself to police these bad ads, and the implications are huge.
What the court has done is put an extra onus on Google to go above and beyond having policies in place and actually determine itself whether or not the advertisers have chosen misleading search terms.
The company has just under a fortnight to seek leave to appeal in the High Court.
In my view, Google cannot afford not to appeal. They must appeal.
But the ACCC is determined not to back down on a prosecution which is being watched around the world.
If we see areas of behaviour that we think are problematic, then we'll take it on no matter how large the companies are.
Sarah Dingle reporting.